Welcome to BusinessCake, Season 2. This is a show for people who are building their ideas. Show may be, I don't know, not the right word. This is like a conversation. It is like a regular update. Journaling, live journaling. This is like watching Patrick and me bake cakes in the kitchen, except cakes are business. And we're inviting people in as well to help us bake cakes or tell us about cakes they've baked as we are doing this. Does that make sense? Y'all tracking? Anyways, this is Season 2. A quick update on this before we dive into this conversation specifically. We're only going to do 9 seasons. Patrick and I are not interested in a perpetual podcast. So this is going to be a snapshot. Whatever these 9 seasons encapsulate, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to talk about. The guests that we have, the stories that we share, the view into what we are building both individually and together. You know, it's like this is this part of the journey. And then at the end, we will have a baked cake. So this is what we're doing. You can join conversation on Reddit. BusinessCake is what it's called. You can email us. You can absolutely comment and like and subscribe. Please share this because we want to share our journey. So here we go. In this conversation, it is just Patrick and me, and I am giving an update on ETLA Distilleries. This is a joint effort between Maria, my wife, and myself as we launch this distillery. And, you know, I give kind of a background and then dive into the difficulties that we've had. And we have had some. Like this has been an uphill climb. It's one that we love. We love the people we're working with. We love the work. We're passionate about the product to be able to share this eventually with people in the US. But man, it is hard. So I hope that you enjoy it. Enjoy getting a snapshot into the life of an entrepreneur trying to get this stuff going. Any questions that you have, again, send them in. We'd love to hear it. I'd love to go into more detail and whatever interests you. So thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoy. With alcohol, because of all the regulations, it is like the amount of prep work and specifically the time that goes into the prep is like pretty significant. And I think we knew that theoretically going in, but as we are walking in it and walking through it, and you're like, okay, we started this conversation, we started down this path 3 years ago, and we still don't have a sale in a market. We have product. Like, I think if you're just trying to get bottled product, that's the easiest thing to do. But being able to get to the point where you can sell it, that's tough. And people have said that's your moat. That's the competitive thing. You know, and so that's what I want to talk about is like the landscape and some of the things, because that's what we've been going through. What are the hills we've had to navigate, the rivers we've had to cross, all of that. How does that sound?
To grandmother's house you go.
Yeah. Can't go.
Yeah, I think I think it's fine. I mean, it's your project. So you talk about.
All right. Well,
I know it.
I just want to make sure that that's not too snoozy, because if you start falling asleep, then it's a bad direction.
Okay. Well, I'll let you know. I'll hold up this little plastic goblet if I'm falling asleep.
That's great. All right. So The first part of the landscape is that there's.
Wait, you're not just jumping in.
I'm not.
We have to kick off season 2. This is the beginning of season 2.
Okay.
We didn't do that yet.
No, you're right.
Yeah. So that was a nice little like intro brief teaser. But this is the beginning of season 2 of BusinessCake. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we already did season 1, which was super fun. We didn't know we were going to be doing seasons, but we kind of just went for it. We had some conversations unrecorded, and then we had a lot of recorded conversations, and we got into a good rhythm of getting some people's stories and some updates between us, and then having the what did they say look backs. And with anything, we're learning about podcasting, learning about like how things go. And I would say overall, I enjoyed it. From a personal experience standpoint, I would rate my experience with the first season of BusinessCake as like a 9 out of 10. Like I started
That's
low.
high.
And then by the time we were done with it, I was like, actually, I really enjoy this situation. But I didn't know what was going to happen. And so I just found, kind of stumbled along with it. What notes do you have about season 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think it started as conversations between you and me, and then let's have other conversations with people and other people that are building. And I think by the end, realizing that it was a lot of fun. We had the people we talked to, what people are doing, whether it was one that like conversations we actually published or not. It was fun doing that. And I think saying like this is around building your ideas, like this is what we want to talk about, this is what we want to hone in on. So I think I would probably put it like 9 seems high. I would probably put it, for me, if I were to rate the season, just my experience going through it, I would say it's a 7.
And that's pretty close to a 9. It's not that different. I would probably rate the overall season at like a 2 or 3 for like a general podcast,
Yeah.
Just because it was brand new. We were figuring it out. There was a lot of things that we did not know in the beginning. And so people could listen to it and be like, yeah, this is a 2. And
a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. But
are you saying about 2 out of 5?
No, 2 out of 10. 2 out of 100. No, 2 out of 10. So I just think from my own personal journey, like I don't really care how people rate the actual podcast. Some people enjoy it, and I've had people tell me they don't enjoy it. And I think, great, just don't listen to it. No one is force feeding you this podcast down your throat. You can just unsubscribe. But then for the rest of the people that do like it, they can subscribe, give us 5 stars, give us some feedback on Reddit, like be part of, we're going to do some open forums this season. We're going to do some like jump in and ask questions and make calls. And, I think that's the other fun thing is when we got together to plan whatever BusinessCake was supposed to be, you and I had a lot of wind behind season 2, and just what we're thinking of what we wanted.
We've got plans.
That's what I thought you were going to talk about. Pops
is going to be surprised.
That's what I thought you were going to talk about when you were talking about the cake and the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients in the oven. But,
yeah, I would probably had that as context in my head, and then just jumped to this to what I wrote down to talk about today. But we did. So one of the things we laid out is we said, look, we're gonna do like one BusinessCake has an end, just like any cake. You cook the cake, you prep it, you bake it. Not in that order. I'm just saying.
No. But the other point was really good. That
it has an end. Yeah. But then there's a purpose. Like it's celebratory. Everybody eats it. Some people like it, but we're all together. And I think that is going to encapsulate the rest of this podcast. Like BusinessCake, this podcast will have an end. It's not going to go on perpetually. We're not trying to do that. We are going to use it to give updates on what we're building. And then
when is it ending?
Well, we don't have the time, but I think we have the structure. So we're going to do a total of 9 seasons.
9 seasons, and then we're going to kill it.
So season 1 is already done.
That's right.
We have 8 more.
That's it. We got to make it count.
Yeah. And we're not going to like cheat either to where like season 6 has 100 episodes.
Oh,
no,
okay.
That's bullshit.
I like this.
Doing that.
Give us a little accountability.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, oh crap, the end's coming up, but we don't want it to end, you know? No, you like the end of a thing is better than the beginning. So
okay. No, I like it. And I think something we would want from our listeners is engagement. You know, I appreciate texts that people send me and other things. But what other kind of engagement do you think, Will, people could get in on?
Well, I think we're going to have an email that you can send questions to.
I put you on the spot with that one. That was awesome.
I know. Now I'm making it up as we go.
We got to create an email.
I mean,
now.
I think any any feedback was great. We'll take it, even if you don't like it. That's good feedback. We've talked about different discussions, like throwing something on Reddit to where people can just
we
jump
have
in.
a subreddit that is BusinessCake. So if you go, you can. It's closed, but it's not private. So you just need to like, please, can I join? And we'll just say yes. And then you can comment. We have all the past episodes up there. And then as we have future things, like if maybe we want to find some other guests, like you can nominate somebody. And we really will. I think we need to do like a live session of sorts where we have people on who are working on something and they just kind of throw out what they're facing, and then we get a chance to work it out with them live.
This is something Patrick and I do a lot with people. It's just we never record it and post it. And so I think, we definitely want to do that. We want to have like live workshop type sessions where we're working on something. So if you've got something you want to like flesh out or you're stuck, we're in.
Bring it.
We'll do this. And
It'd
then
be fun to just kick it around.
We're going to have like little events, we'll go to different towns, different cities, villages.
In person, face-to-face.
In-person events. Yeah. Physical,
where you can eat a cake while we talk about whatever it is we're talking about.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of plans that we're going to do.
Rate season 2, your experience with season 2 now, of what you think it's going to be at the end.
Me?
Yeah.
Or are you talking to who?
No, I'm talking to you. You got to
get. Okay. Season 2, what my experience is going to be. Can I lower my season 1 experience?
Oh, wow. Sure. I mean, there are no rules.
I just want to be able to go up. I want to be able to constantly improve. So I feel like if I started at a 7, I think it's going to be an 8. I'm going to go there. It's going to get better.
You like plans, and things with you work better when you have a plan, right? And structure.
Yes.
That's good. I think I'm going to be disappointed by this season because my expectations are now so high. And it's like everything I ever want in this experience, I want it to happen in season 2 and be encapsulated by season 2. And that's not going to happen.
No. And otherwise we'd end it at season 2.
I know.
It's done.
It's hard for me to extract that and just make it its own thing. But I am going to actively work on that so I end season 2 overall optimistic about season 3.
Well, just start at a 2 again, or start at a 3. Say, like, I think it's going to be.
I can't, though, because I literally think this is fun now.
It's a problem.
Yeah, I enjoy it. All right. So that's season 2. Welcome. get involved, however that looks like for you guys. And then we get to kick off season 2 with what Will is talking about here, with his journey with ETLA and the notes that he has and what he wants to share. And then I'm going to ask him some questions. So it's kind of like he's our guest today. So Will, welcome to Business Cake. My name is Patrick, and
Hey, Patrick.
I do this with my brother Will.
That guy.
And we're stoked to have you on today to hear about ETLA and how it's going. So why don't you kick us off?
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to give it up. I think the first thing that I will say officially, now that I'm giving an update, is I am a co-founder of ETLA, and Maria, my wife and partner in crime, is the other co-founder. And this is really like me sharing this stuff is going to be, Will's version of events, and it's very different than if having Maria here. And I think it will be worth it to also get hers, because it's going to be such a different conversation that we're going to have with her. So I'm going to talk strategy and plan and that, all the business side of things. And she's going to just breathe life into it and talk about.
She does add a lot of color to everything she does.
She does. Yeah.
It's great.
So
give us what you got, Will. We're excited about it.
I'm excited to deliver it, and y'all are going to enjoy it. You are too, Patch. All right.
2 out of 10.
I'm going to read it. I'm just kidding. I'm not reading it. But so the first thing, and I had mentioned this at the top, is that there is a lot of prep to do when getting into alcohol and in the beverage industry. And there's state level, there's federal level that anybody has to go through. There are, and with the federal, so because we're launching in Texas, but then also building a company in Mexico, then we are doing state and federal in the US, plus essentially state and federal in Mexico. So it's there's a lot. There's a lot of prep work and it won't take us this long when we want to launch a new product in the future. But I think to get started, it's just been uphill climbs.
So is that surprising to you, or is that something you expected?
Well, I expected there to be a lot to go through. One of the first things we did is start working with a lawyer in Austin. And
when was this? How long ago?
The first conversation with her was probably 2020, spring of 23.
Okay.
When we said, okay, we are going to jump in and do this. And so she laid out a path of, here's the things that you're going to need to do. We formed the LLC in 24 and in Texas. And then in 25, we've formed in Mexico the equivalent of an LLC. So, I think it's been 2 years. We're coming officially, but we started working with this family 3 years ago. And again, it's the product, we have product. The hard part is not making the product when it comes to this and mezcal and rum. The hard part is moving it.
So are you still following the framework the attorney in Austin gave you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are. So the framework she laid out, right? There's company level approvals and certifications you have to get to be a resident and a seller or non-resident seller in Texas with the TABC, Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission. So we've done that. And then it's to be able to import, then, you have to have an import license and things for that. And so that plays into it. You've got to have your brand approved and trademarks. And the thing about a trademark is you have to use it. And so we registered it, and I was thinking, hey, we're going to have sales already. We haven't. And so we have to renew and like push that out every 6 months until we actually have the
So it's not a
product in the
trademark
market.
until it's actually functional.
Yeah, it's kind of like a placeholder. So I mean, it's like those things that it's like, great, let's get this in motion, and then it just creates work until you've got it got it in motion.
I'm not trying to frustrate you. And we can keep moving, but I'm gonna happily dive down into anything. Now where you are, so this is November 2025. When that attorney gives you this framework and you're back in the spring of 23, what's one thing that somebody could have said to you to prepare you for the next 2.5 years?
I think get the hell out of here. No,
Really?
no, I'm just
Wait,
kidding.
run away while you can.
I think it is the like we wasted. We didn't know we were wasting, but we lost a year working with an accountant in Oaxaca, and that delayed us like quite a bit.
Because you didn't need an accountant or that accountant?
Because that accountant didn't know how things work outside of Oaxaca.
Yeah, fair.
And so he knew mezcal, but as far as like, how do I sell mezcal outside of Oaxaca, or even into the US, like did not understand any of that. And so going through that process was slow and arduous and painful. And when we started working with the right, both like accountant and tax team in Mexico and legal team, it changed that. So we engaged with them at the start of this year, and it was like a night and day difference.
So what?
So I would say like you've got the team is important. And so if talking to the lawyer in Austin, she's great. But standing up a company in Mexico, we didn't have an equivalent down there yet to help us and lay this out and work with us. And so I don't know if I could change that, but I would ask that whoever could. It's like, who can give me the person to work with? Like, I need a good legal team and accountant. So, because it's like, if we don't have tax stuff set up well and entity structure in place and all that, like we are asking for trouble.
I've heard
down the line.
So the one thing that you want somebody to say to you, you're back in 23, is what?
Talk to Octavio.
Oh, okay. So give you this specific advice. Okay. So that would have saved you a year.
Yeah. Because I like right now, because I want to sell. Like, I think that's the main thing. I want a bottle on a shelf and somebody to go look at that bottle and have the choice not to buy it. And I want to convince them that it's to buy it. It's like, like, that's the conflict that I want to get into.
Yeah.
It's like not all this other stuff. And so it's
just interesting because you did not say be patient. You didn't say this is going to take longer than expected or be ready to waste a lot of time. So I don't know what to make of that, but I think it is interesting that it's fair too. Like if someone knew Octavio, and if anyone's trying to start a business in Mexico with alcohol, right? This is the guy they need to know. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Well, because I mean, some of that we were bracing for. I knew it was going to take a while. I knew it, but take a while when I make a plan, and then that keeps getting pushed. I think that's the part where it could have happened within a 2-year time frame.
Yeah.
Had I been talking with the right person.
All right. You can continue.
One other thing. Yeah. Because as we work through that, it's like the 3-tier system in the US dictates so much, and people may or may not understand that. And so if you're listening to this, it's like this is any business has their regulations, and alcohol, the regulations created, most of them came right after the prohibition was lifted. And so whatever business had power at that point got the legislation passed in their favor. And so in Texas, the ones who had power were package stores. They had the most sway in Texas law. And so Texas, like usually you've got this 3-tier system where if you make or import alcohol, you pass to a distributor. That's the distributor is the second tier. Distributor sells to restaurants, package stores. That's the third tier. And then the consumer can buy from there. In Texas, there's 4 tiers where you have like the distributor is the second tier, right?
Okay.
The third tier are the package stores.
Yeah.
And restaurants have to buy from package stores. So I can, as a consumer, I can go to the package store, and that's 3 tier.
Oh, okay.
But if like a restaurant, which they do most of that volume, are buying their inventory not from a distributor, wholesale, they're buying it from a package store, and so that changes pricing and all.
That's
those
the part
things.
where the package store had the power, and so they said we have to be where other states, the restaurants can go straight to the distributor. Yeah. Makes sense.
And so and that just affects your strategy as you're trying to sell, because now
it also kicks up the cost every time it changes hands.
Increases the cost. And then it would so that's part of the landscape.
So is this good regulation? Are you happy with that regulatory system?
I'm not. I mean, as somebody that just wants to have my product on a shelf, I think that creates more friction and increases price. So
So what system would you recommend then in its place?
Rather than 3 tier?
Or 4 tier? What? Sure.
I mean, I think the I haven't ever thought really about this, but I mean, I think this, when people say that we only live in a capitalist economy,
we only live in a capitalist economy.
Yeah, when people say that, they're wrong.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is like these regulations where it's like protecting the flow of the goods and all of that. Like, this is not invisible hand stuff. This is not the free market economy. This is not, hey, whoever can get it to the consumer the best and the fastest wins. This is legislation and government, and there's a centralization of power, and it's like, and this is all over, but I mean, alcohol is super regulated, but it's all over in the US. Like, there are industries protected by this. And I think that can be a good thing. So, I mean, but it's also difficult. So I don't know if I would. I think the system has to change and be improved, because it's like now you're talking about at least 100 years old laws that a lot's changed since then, and it's hard to move some of this product. But I don't know. Let me think about it, and I'll come back to you. And
that's fine. Hey, I'm just throwing questions out as I think about them. So you keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if somebody, I probably can't hit this hard enough, but if somebody is trying to create a whiskey in the US, the cost the barrier to entry to that is the cost to get the still up and running and all of that. But I mean, even then, you can get it pretty easily. But going through the regulations, going through the paperwork, getting everything, and then actually convincing people to buy your product, like, that's the hardest part. And it takes so much just to get to that point. And I think that's where in other industries, it can be pretty quick to where it's like, well, I just want to convince you to buy the product. Mm-hmm. And so the lead time to that is small. Like here it's not. So I think I've said that 100 ways, and we can move on.
So, yeah, I mean, the point is just that the regulation around all of this, both on the Mexican side and the U.S. side, is just way more than you thought it was going to be. And
Dude,
having
way
the
more.
right people in place is key.
Even to the point. So in Mexico,
You're going to say more on it. You can keep going.
Well, in Mexico. So a lot of our listeners probably are not looking to start a business in Mexico. Let me give you some insight as to why you're not going to either. But like just their invoicing is so particular and different than what is required in the US. In the US, we don't really care.
So invoicing would be like when one business wants to buy something from another company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of information that has to be on that invoice, but it's down to the month to where if you send me an invoice for goods and you send it on June 30th and I pay the invoice on July 1st, it doesn't count. Like it has to be in the same month.
What do you mean it doesn't count?
Like that's for the accounting purposes. Like you have to redo the invoice for July 1st because that's when you receive the money for it. I don't know how that balances, but I know that it's caused headache for us because if I was a week later and paying an invoice and it moved it to another month, it was just like, well, now it's 2 months later before I can actually pay the invoice because of the back and forth that we're doing.
Because they have to make a new invoice and then you have to get it. Yeah. That's wild. It actually, from an accounting perspective, it's actually kind of nice because you don't really have aging AR. It's like your receivables are 0 on the 1st, even though, or I guess on the 30th if you haven't received it, and then you start over and resubmit all the invoices on the 1st. So that's not terrible from my end, but from your end, I can see how that's terrible.
From just trying to build business, it's rough. From like a compliance or accounting perspective where somebody just has to look at the numbers, it's easier. But it's like, well, what are you trying to make? Who do you want it to be easier for? It's a good question.
Okay.
So where we are right now, we have our mezcal ready to go. However,
right now, as in like November 2025.
November 2025.
Okay.
We have mezcal. It's not bottled. We have the bottles. We have labels. We're just waiting. So for us to call it mezcal, it has to be approved by the regulatory council. Our packet is with them. We're waiting on the approval. If there are any like label changes, we'll have to deal with those. But it's like we're just waiting. Once we have that approval from the mezcal council, then we can come to the US and say, we have this product. It's approved by this group. The FDA will say, that's great. You have your number. You're good to go. Your import number. And then we'll get the label approved, the certificate of label application where they say everything aligns with our, Food and Drug Administration standards, Surgeon General's warnings, all that stuff is on there. Barcodes, the barcode industry, that's a thing. I didn't know about that. You probably knew about that. Did you?
I know about those black and white stripes. Yes, sir.
There's like, I don't know how many companies can administer these, but there's one in particular, and you've got to renew it every year. Like, this is crazy to me for these barcodes. But I mean, it makes sense too, because you need the tracking and all of that. But it's just something that I did not know. We had to buy barcodes.
Related to capitalism?
Whoever started the barcode business, good for them.
Okay. We'll take that as an answer and move on.
Yeah. What else? Yeah. Anyways, we've got it. We've got again, that's all regulatory.
Right.
Stuff. We have logistics stuff where we have to work with a customs broker and our distributor to be able to bring the goods in and get them to the distributor's warehouse. So we have to go through that. We have not yet signed a contract with a distributor. That's pending. But we need this stuff in place to know when we can get the product so that I have with some confidence. I can say to a distributor, we will have the product by March and we'll have it here and it could be at your warehouse and you can sell it. Thank you.
But just getting it to a distributor doesn't guarantee that you have shelf space, right? In any given liquor store? Okay.
No, it does not. And so regulatory is one stream that we are making progress on. Logistics is another. And then the third one is the actual sales and moving of the product. And so we are, and this is where Maria does a lot of work today. So I'm kind of working on those other two streams. And then Maria is out in the San Antonio and surrounding area community. She's meeting people, sharing contact information. Like we're starting to set up tastings to where we can go to a beverage director and sit down with the mezcal and them. And by the end of it, say, how many cases of this do you want? When it's ready to go, we'll email you, and start to fill out that list. And so there's demand, I think, that we've been starting to create this past year and building anticipation. And then once we have that contract signed with the distributor, we have a marketing company we'll sign with that has a whole plan built out, like 6 months of this is how we're going to do the launch. And so that's that'll get the product.
So this is kind of what you're doing in this waiting period is you're building the marketing, getting some grassroots relationship built.
Yep. And we're going to Oaxaca probably every 2 months, 3 months.
Okay.
And
6-7 weeks.
No, not saying it.
I won't say it either.
2 or 3 months. We were just down there and I had a huge scare. And I was Maria said I was very panicked.
I can't believe that you're going to talk about this.
Why?
I mean, why can't I not believe it?
Because it's dealing with product that isn't on the market yet.
You can, hey, go for it, man. Just hit it. Yeah.
This is about building a business. And I think at any point in a business, like you are working with your product and things can happen. Things can go
before
wrong.
You kick this off, you've tasted and drank of this mezcal, correct?
Many mezcals.
This one in particular that you're going to be selling.
Yeah.
And is it good?
It's
delicious. How good is it?
Look, it's the best mezcal that I've had.
I know, but you need to say that before you say the next story.
And it is the best mezcal that I have. And people in the industry, in the US, who are in the alcohol industry, that we have brought to Oaxaca to meet people and to meet distillers, before we even jumped in to say, hey, we're doing this. It was like nobody really knew we were thinking about it.
Okay.
We visited, 10 different palenques, distilleries in Oaxaca. When they tasted the mezcal that is ours towards the end of the trip, all of them stopped and were like, this is the best one we've had on the whole trip. And we were
you're not making this up.
No, this is a true story.
All right. Well, I think you just need to clarify the quality and the level that this mezcal sits at.
We would not be doing this if I did not think this was the best mezcal and people would love it. And you've had the mezcal. Have you liked it?
I have.
Okay.
And I have a Pachuga right now. But listen, from Pozal. But people do put products on the market that aren't the best things, that they've ever had. And so,
look, we're not,
especially before Microsoft. You tell this story, you just have, okay, it's low blow. You just have to make sure that you say that this mezcal is actually really high quality. It's delicious for people that like drinking mezcal, right? And
people who don't like drinking mezcal or don't know that they do, will taste it and they're hooked. So
it's living La Vida Loca, like Ricky Martin said. Once you get a taste of this,
living La Vida
you'll never
Buena.
be the same. Okay, that's fair. All right, so tell the story now. So what happened?
All right, we were in Oaxaca recently, a few weeks ago. And part of us going down there was to get some samples to bring up so that we can go around to these restaurants and beverage directors and et cetera, have them taste the product. We can get the indication of interest. How many cases do you want and all that? And so we are going down there to bring back some samples of our product. We have two varieties, Espadín and Mexicano. While we were down there during the week, we drank the Espadín. It's great. No issues. The Mexicano, which is the more premium of them, because it takes about 14 years for the agave to ripen before you harvest it. So it's a long time. This is a good product. We cracked open one of the bottle the night before we were about to leave, one of the samples. And it was not just not good.
Oh no.
It was like it was like chewing a charred fire log. That's not the taste you want from a mezcal. You don't want that. And so then I got scared because I thought, and so I just sat there quietly sipping it. Like, maybe this is in my head. Let me get through this little shot and I will make up my mind as I go. But by the end of it, it was just, it was not what I expected. So I give it to Maria. She tastes it. She's like, yeah, something's off here. So we text our project manager distiller. She's like, something is off. Y'all need to check this. And in my head, I'm thinking, we paid for this batch and we have had mezcal from this batch and it's been delicious. So something has gone wrong while we've been waiting to bottle it. And we potentially have lost an entire batch of mezcal.
Which is not like $50, right? It's more than that.
Yeah, it's not $50.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Do you want me to put dollar figures to it?
When you say a batch of mezcal, people, let the folks at home know.
It was about 3,000 bottles worth in this batch.
Okay.
And so if you think about a bottle selling at $65, $70 per bottle, that's a lot of change. That's a lot of change, somebody said. So how much is it? You calculating it?
Yeah, $200,000 revenue.
It's
3,000 bottles at 65-ish.
Yeah.
Around there. Yeah.
I mean, and that's what somebody would buy it off in the shelf. So that's not what we're not getting all that margin. That's the 3-tier system sucking away all that margin.
Okay. Anyways, you tasted this, you texted, what's his name?
Vale is our project manager, and Luis is our distiller. So what they did, 4 days later, they pull the whole team that worked on that batch together. So it's Luis's brothers, Vale's there, some of the people that helped, and they sit down and they just they pour it, they mix it, and they take a sip, and they're like, okay, something's off. When you distill, just bit of context for any distilled spirit, you have the heads, the body, and the tail. The heads are the first thing that come off, and you throw them out. The body is really what you're using for your whiskey. The tails are really pungent, lower in ABV.
When the heads are like toxic, right? Like people go blind and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So don't do that.
I won't.
So for the body of our mezcal, it's sitting at 52% ABV. It's 104 proof. It is delicious, but what we've decided to do is lower it to 48. So to lower it to 48, then usually you add the tails. and you do a little mix. You don't do too much, but you do enough to start to lower it. And so when they were bottling the samples for us, what they discovered is the tails went bad. So as they mixed the tails with the body of our mezcal, that is what messed it up. So we didn't lose the entire batch. We just lost the 10 bottles that they bottled for us, that they mixed the tails in. And so it was like, I thought we had lost a ton. But I mean, those things you're immediately jump into, okay, well, how do we pivot? What do we do? I'm already counting this lost. So what is the next step that we have to take? And I think for any business owner, that's going to be not an unusual pivot, where it's like you get the bad news and you immediately are like, okay, well, or even before you get the bad news, I was bracing for the bad news. And so I was already trying to problem solve. And thankfully it's not as bad as I thought.
So this batch isn't gonna be like the typical Mexicano that you would want to put out, or that you're gonna put out later, but it's still a really good mezcal. We've got just going to be a little higher proof probably than the rest of them will. Okay.
I think what we're going to do is kind of, and each one, we've been toying with the idea of just making each one a vintage. This is the year. This is our 2025 vintage, this is our 2026, and allowing us flexibility on that change. Like, what is it going to come out as? Do we like that? So this may just push us towards that sooner than we thought.
I think that's a good idea.
You like that?
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Okay. It's good feedback.
Anytime. That one's free. Well, I'm glad that you were able to pivot.
Pivoting is something I learned to do in basketball. So I feel I'm not the most flexible person, but I can pivot,
Okay, that's fair. So
Thanks.
What else do you have to tell us about ETLA before I jump into my questions?
I mean, I think that's it. Like, I think we are anticipating. We feel like we're close. I would love to say spring of 26, but I remember this time last year when I was saying spring of 25. So I'm not gonna say it, but we're close.
All right, you ready for my questions?
Bring them on.
Why did you do this?
Which part?
Why did you get into this?
Two reasons. And I will tell you them.
Yeah, go on. I was hoping there would be some follow-up.
Yeah, there's follow-up. So the first one is that Maria and I, one of our dreams had been to have a distillery one day. And then we thought it would be when the kids were grown up, or at least in college, and we had some time to play. And it was like, it just seemed like a fun thing. We had kicked it around. We had talked about it in the early years. So that is one. Is like, we were already kind of thinking about that as a eventuality. The second reason is, and why we're doing it now, is because we met this family in Oaxaca who distills rum. And as we were talking with them and seeing if we could connect them with somebody in the States who would import the rum and purchase it, we were like, man, this family is so awesome. We love them. We love working with them. The rum is fantastic quality. We're in our 30s. We're young enough to learn a new industry. And we had met people in the industry that were, 30 years in it, really experienced. And we're talking with them, and it was like, this seems like a good idea. I mean, it seems like something we can do. I don't know if it seemed like a good idea, but it was like, this is something we can do.
It's plausible.
Yeah, let's work. And we really wanted to work with this family.
What's that family's name?
The Arellanes.
Okay.
And Vale, our project manager, is one of the sons. So his dad, whom we call Don Chava, is the distiller for the rum. And yeah.
So that's coming alongside with the mezcal.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So Vale is our kind of connector down there. And he introduced us to his friend Luis, who makes mezcal, who's 8th generation. And so after we decided to work with them on the rum, then Vale was like, hey, you're still waiting for your rum to age. What if in the meantime you also do mezcal? And we were like, oh, that would be awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. So he's the one that got you into the mezcal side.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, Mexican rum, you don't really hear much about that. So that's kind of fun.
No, but dude, let me tell you, when we were there a couple of weeks ago.
Sorry, this episode is just about mezcal. Okay, no, you can say it.
Okay, thanks. We've had some of the rum aging, and we bought some of the production that Don Chava had made a few years prior to when we met him. So now it's been aging 11 years. And we had some, and
this is in barrels aging.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is so good. And
that's awesome.
The color is just a beautiful, like dark brown, creamy, not creamy. That's not the right word. Caramel. That's the word I'm looking for. It's so milky. it's
Mexican rum is like you've never seen. Yeah. Straight from the cow. All right. Well, that's good. It
was great.
That's why you got into it. What about people that don't drink alcohol?
I like those people. They're great. I have friends who are those people.
Mm-hmm. Do you tell them about what you're doing? Keep going.
Yeah, I do. What do you mean? Because I mean, some people just don't drink alcohol, but then other people have a religious aversion to alcohol.
Sure.
Conviction that is bad. So what is your question?
I mean, it's one of those things that there aren't people that are like, I hate furniture or I'm never going to have furniture. I'm never going to do that. Okay. But alcohol can be something that some people are like, don't bring this in my house. Right. And so you're now, in a situation where sometimes, and I'm not saying people are going to get angry and like throw stones at you and such, but first of all, do you work with people in their team or in your industry that are like part of what's happening and don't drink alcohol? Because that is interesting. And then secondly, if people want to, maybe they want to support, engage, or be interested in your story and they don't drink mezcal or rum or alcohol, what would you say to them?
Yeah. So I think there's probably, depending on the person or the context, I'm going to overthink it. I won't overthink it. Let me just say this.
Just give us your quick 30-second.
Our project manager, Vale, does not drink alcohol. He is his life and marriage ended because of his marriage ended because of alcohol, not his life.
Okay. I mean, that was intense. I'm glad he's still around.
We talk with him, so it'd be weird.
All right. So he
doesn't drink it.
And he's your main project manager for both rum and mezcal.
He is around it. He's with us in it, and part of that is because for the people that we work with in Oaxaca, this is a part of their culture. So like Maria has worked in imports and exports for years and worked with Mexican artisans on handmade things, and mezcal and this rum are artisanal products for them. It'd be like somebody that is weaving a rug with the loom.
Coming from where?
Oaxaca.
Oh, they do that there?
Yeah.
Oh,
But they
okay.
do, but like they make that, and it's the same for like somebody that is making mezcal it's the same thing. Like these are two artisans and artisan types, and it's just such a part of the culture. So I think for us, it is alcohol, and for you, it's alcohol, but it's like sharing this culture, and the nature of it is not one where people are like abusing it there. It's enjoyed. It's part of the conversation, but it's there. It's like mezcal is to have good conversation. The rum is around that. It's like when Don Chava is sharing it with you, it's because he made this and he wants you to enjoy it and appreciate it. And so it's like the spirit of the craft, not
Yeah.
the abuse of it. And I think that's an important thing for people who have an issue with alcohol itself, because I think at a minimum, they can hopefully appreciate the hard work and the craft and the life that this brings to people in Oaxaca, because they've been doing it for centuries.
Yeah, it's part of their who they are and their culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
so
awesome.
I can't speak on behalf of the entire alcohol industry for that, but that's how I would talk about it. Is like, this is why what we're doing, and it's not an abuse thing. It's enriching your life.
Yeah.
So drink responsibly.
How do you plan to celebrate after you get that first batch placed and selling in the liquor store?
Oh, so you knew that I don't celebrate things. So I haven't even thought about this.
I didn't know that. Is that true?
It's hard.
You just move on to the next. You're like,
Yeah, I
this
just
is
move
great.
on. I'm like, yeah, this happened. I move on. When I was at Rackspace, I had people on my team that were the party like celebrate. So it's like I knew that they would build in times for us to have a good time, but I kind of move on to the next thing. So I don't know. I'm going to talk to Brooke about that.
All right, Brooke.
And she's gonna help me think through it.
Okay. All right, Brooke. Good luck. One last question, and then I think we can just take it wherever we find ourselves. But on the capital side, I think you've had a process with that, and you've kind of had a journey. And so, anything you want to say about that?
Dude, I mean, that is so much. I think there's so much to dive into, and my process in that. When I left Rackspace a year and a half ago, then I had a plan that got us to August of this year. And then I was counting on sales for ETLA to start to kick in August of this year. And I was like, great, we've got enough cash. My family's okay. We can build this thing. It's gonna happen. And in March of 25, I realized we're not going to have any sales yet. It's taking longer than I thought. And, we're going to run out of cash as a family. Like we need to sort through this, and we need to figure out what's going on, figure out a plan. And so we re-engage with him, having investor conversations. And
Was it successful?
Yeah. I mean, having people buy into the vision of what we are building and why we're doing it, and what is huge. And yeah, I mean, I think it's allowing us to do this.
That was a cool little mini journey, or like side quest that you had along the way of figuring out who would be a good investor. How do you bring investors on? How much you're going to be selling? How do you pitch this to them? And
Yeah.
I know that we could spend time on that, but I think it's an important part of starting something that requires capital. If somebody doesn't have the capital that they need, and you kind of just did it on the side while you were building all this stuff. And I know it wasn't on the side for you, but you did in everything that we talked about today. You did not bring that up.
Yeah,
and so
you're right, because it's a supporting. I mean, it was critical. We would not be having this conversation if that did not occur. Like we had to do that to keep going. So you're right. But it is something like now that we have the buy-in from these investors, then it's like let's go. We can do it.
Let's go. So if people want to follow your journey and keep up with, maybe where they could get it or what happens in the future, where do they find ETLA online?
So we are on Instagram. ETLA.Distilleries, I believe, is the handle. But I can...
ETLA.Distilleries, I believe.
No,
is the handle.
Let me just confirm.
That's a long handle.
ETLA.Distilleries.
I bet if you just search for ETLA, it'll be probably one of the first accounts that pop up.
ETLA.Distilleries. That's not a long handle.
You said ETLA.Distilleries, I believe, is the handle.
Patch.
What?
Oh. Do you work in marketing?
Yeah, look, you got Luis right there. No, I hate marketing. I just wasted $2,500 on it. All right, but this is not about me today. Any closing statements, words? Yeah, hit us.
That's the main thing. You can also go to our website at etladistilleries.com. And we'll have information on coming soon, etc. We're starting in Texas, and I think if we are able to launch in Texas at the beginning of next year, 26, then we will look at going into other states after that. But I think we're trying to just get settled and set in Texas initially, and then go from there. So,
well, I know that we're going to have a few more updates as ETLA continues to grow, but I think that was awesome for today to catch us all the way up, like how it's been from, we've had check-ins, but really since the beginning until where we are now, where you are now, and what's going on. That was a great synopsis, and we had some good takeaways, some good lessons learned. Find Octavio if you're in Mexico. Yep. And then hopefully you'll be celebrating sometime in 2026 when you make that first sale.
Yes, exactly. And if you want to buy some at that time, drive to Texas and buy some if you're not here. If you are here, buy it. All right. BusinessCake is produced by Sound Ops. The music is written by Philip Cusius, and this is hosted by Will and Patrick. If you enjoyed it, please rate us 5 stars wherever you find your podcasts.